Hey everyone, this is Tamika, and I wanted to talk to you today about mental hygiene and pratyahara. So, I actually podcast or have an episode on my podcast, Think, Flow, Grow, that talks about mental hygiene and, in times of difficulty. Obviously, we had some difficulties last weekend, and we're still seeing a lot of things. If you're a person who watches news, I don't think anyone's really impervious to what is going on in our world if you do watch news. The only way to be okay with what is going on in our world is if you are not watching the news. And I know that there are a few of you guys too. I'm married to one of those people. But for those of us who are, for one reason or another, we are we're watching the news and we're kind of coexisting in the reality of the world that we're living in. What do we do in times of difficulty? So I have an entire episode on that on my podcast, which I actually think is probably the most passionate podcast I've done so far. So I would love for you to give it a listen. But what I do want to do is talk a bit more about how to practice, what is the yogic concept that I have been personally practicing in order to do life, do life right now. So Yoga Sutra 2.54 talks about pratyahara. This is the fifth limb of yoga, and this is turning inward. So of all the limbs of yoga, there are 8, and of them asana or movement is 3. So yogis would say that in order to practice just asana or movement, so to do the things that we do when we go to a yoga class, then we need to have mastered limbs 1 and 2 first, which are the ways that we interact with ourselves and the ways that we interact with the others. And these are called the yamas and niyamas. And so until we are really doing that work, then we're not actually able to do the work of the physical practice. Now, in our country, and especially in Houston, where we have kind of a very movement-oriented yoga community, a lot of yogis would say that we're not really in the work of yoga, actually. But anyway, that's, an argument for another day. But after asana or movement or the postures, so what we do when we go to a yoga studio and we do that work. So that's limb number 3. After that, above that is pranayama or breath, using the breath to control energy, the way that we use our energy. And this is important work as well. This is why breath is usually integrated in yoga classes that are actually good ones. But the next limb is pratyahara, or turning inward. And so this concept of turning inward is really important for me, and it's something that I speak to all the time because I do teach active asana classes, and I also teach yin and restorative asana classes. And I love and am very passionate about yoga nidra. So these are opportunities to turn inward. In this Yoga Sutras 2.54 and 2.55 speak to, and I'll just read them because I'm not going to. Why? But essentially, the restraint of the senses occurs when the mind is able to remain in its chosen direction, and the senses disregard the different objects around them to faithfully follow the direction of the mind. Then the senses are mastered. So essentially, what this Yoga Sutra is saying is that when your senses, whatever you're focused on, what you see, hear, smell, when those senses are focused outward, that's what you're going to experience. When your senses are turning inward, that is what you're going to experience. So when our senses are focused outward, and if we consider our senses like a mirror, If they're focused outward and there's a bunch of crap and craziness in the world, then that is what we're bringing into our psyche. That's what we're bringing into our mind field. And that is what we believe is the nature of the world, the nature of existence, the nature of humanity, the nature of the universe. However, when we bring into our mind field what is inside, when we turn the mirror inside and we start to look inward, what is in us is light. What is in us is heart energy, is pureness. Now, I know that there are religions and people and doctrines that have sold the lie that we are inherently sinful, we are inherently evil, and that is absolutely wrong. What we do have the potential to do is to be separated from others, and in that separation, in that isolation, then what is going on the inside can definitely become bastardized. We can begin to see our worldview becomes bastardized. Our worldview becomes something that is not true, because we have been bringing in the wrong thing. But the reality is that when we are actually turning inward and we're seeing ourselves for ourselves, and we tune into the light that is within us, then we will be seeing things through that perspective, through the perspective of light, through the perspective of heart energy. And I speak more to why this is important in the episode, but I do want to just say that one of the ways that I consistently am able to practice pratyahara is through yin classes, is through restorative classes. And and if you've ever practiced next to me, you know, most of the time I practice with my eyes closed. I'm cutting off the sense of sight so that I can see what's on the inside and pay more attention to my breath. But there's also a phenomenal opportunity, and that's coming up, and that's Yoga Nidra. This is an extraordinarily accessible form of meditation. It's a guided meditation so that you don't have to do the work of getting there. And whenever I lead this in a workshop space, which is actually coming up next week, I will be leading... Ooh, stuff is going on all around me. Anyway, I'll be leading a sound bath restorative practice to get you ready to receive meditation. So you'll have a little bit of movement, and you'll have that sound bath with the crystal bowls where your chakras are being tuned, and you're just getting an experience of kind of being tuned and being ready to receive the meditation. And then we'll do the guided meditation in Shavasana. After we do that, especially this Yoga Nidra that's coming up, which is at Republic Aerial Yoga at 7:30 p.m. After we have that experience of the Yoga Nidra, we'll have an art integration. And so you'll have your journal, colors, markers, pastels, anything that makes you feel arty. Whatever you want, and then we'll have an art integration after. So please do come and check this out. If you've never experienced it, at worst you get a sound bath restorative class. At best you get a paradigm shift. So it's a win-win situation. So again, next Tuesday, Republic Aerial Yoga, 7:30 p.m. And then after then, I will be announcing there will be another sound bath restorative opportunity, not a Yoga Nidra, but another sound bath restorative the following month. So I'll be offering these monthly, and with monthly practice, it gets better and better. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.